Welcome back, everyone, to the Northern Arena Hearthstone Tournament. We're back for another match. This time around, we've got Sir Zubz versus Szelzki as opponent. We don't know the players
Not so well.
very much, but one of them
But
has
I-
really, really interesting deck
Yeah,
lists.
I'm looking at Szelzki's deck list, and he's got some of the new Karazhan cards, we'll call them.
Yeah,
The
we'll call him
menagerie
that.
with the
It's-
menagerie card.
Yeah, so I'm kind of enjoying just looking at those deck lists. We don't look at every single card, so we don't always. Sometimes we do get surprised.
I just saw like a
but-
Zubot and the guy that gives +2/+2 to your Murloc.
I'm leaving that here.
Dragon,
Yeah, it just looks
and,
cool.
Yeah,
Have you played it?
I have not.
You have not.
I was just like, there's no way this is good. And
It's
then
not
I was
bad.
actually watching like Firebat stream, and he was like playing it in Druid, and he was actually somewhat winning. I know it's early in the season, but then I was like, maybe there's potential. And now I'm gonna see it in the tournament match.
Yeah,
so
I really
this is a
like
good
it
day.
in Paladin with the Nightbane Templar. It's just like, it's just good enough to make the cut. Now, we're going to see Szelzki playing a rogue.
The deck list was labeled Control, and there are 2 copies of Burgle, and excuse me, but I don't know all the names of the new cards quite yet, but there's the 5/6 guy that reduces the cards.
The Peddler, Ethereal Peddler is the
Ethereal
name
Peddler.
of that guy, right?
It reduces the cost of opponent's cards by 2.
So it's Thief Rogue,
Yep.
basically.
Yep.
It's a Thief Rogue. So it's playing the Swashbuckler guy, the Huckster,
Yep.
the Burgles, and just the 5-drop. The thing is, the 5-drop is very playable alone.
It's a 5/6.
Yeah, it's just a good body size, usually.
The problem with it does not draw you a card. It's not an Azure Drake, and it does not have spell power.
If it had even
Got
half a
from that
Burgle, embedded in, it would be pretty good. All right, well, there was a keep on the Dark Iron Skulker.
Yeah,
That's a very good keep.
important card to have against Zoo.
Yeah, you know what card I like the most? Sackbacked.
Ooh.
Burgle Rogue
would-
actually wins on ladder because of like swings like these that just look ridiculous, but they're actually important. The deck is inconsistent in the way that you'd never get the same thing, but that's also what makes it strong because nobody knows what comes out.
Absolutely.
So many
Oh
possibilities.
man, Hellfire. Can you imagine?
This seems like a pretty straightforward coin Imp Gang boss turn, but I think you might actually be looking towards Abusive Sergeant and
The light
Dagger.
protects me.
So
Or-
maybe
or-
Direwolf to
and
push
point.
damage. Yeah.
That's it.
I don't mind the play, but you have to push everything face for the rest of the game,
This-
essentially.
you
And
know-
you're setting up for like discards.
This does protect his Flame Imp for a turn more,
True.
given Szelzki will choose to kill that Direwolf.
All right, what is picked up? And that's a very good card.
Wow.
And just like this, Burgle Rogue has actually stabilized out of this madness.
Can't call it Burgle Rogue yet, man. He has to cast at least 1 copy.
Well,
of
he
Burgle.
did burgle a thing. Okay, he huckstered something.
Okay, fine. Call it Huckster Rogue. But I will not call it Burgle Rogue until
Okay,
Burgle
Sure.
is casted.
it will be cast. And it will win games.
I
Yep.
wonder.
Seems like a pretty straightforward Imp Gang boss turn once again.
Yeah, this time around, though, it doesn't have any backend to support it because the assumption he made when he played Direwolf with the Arden Squire was that there would be a really good follow-up.
Thank
The M-Gang boss would
I
put
re-
even
I-
more pressure.
I really dislike that play, thinking about it a bit more. I think if like just if there was a backstab SI,
That would have been punished
yeah,
pretty
game
harshly.
was
yeah.
over. Like coin Imp Gang boss like was
But you might have seen the
Very good.
backstab on the Imp is the assumption he was making. Is if there
Yes.
were the backstab, then I would have probably seen it
well.
on the Flame Imp.
When you don't have the coin, you actually have to save the backstab to combo the SI. So
Yeah.
actually, no, you wouldn't have seen it if there's backstab SI.
Yeah, the assumption is that he would have seen it, but I'm saying there's just no real way for him to know that it's not there. He
So
would have probably been able
This
to
turn's
see.
like pretty interesting. I think there was a reasonable defender of Argus turn.
I was gonna
where
say,
you defender just a Squire.
yeah, you just actually taunt out the 2/2 a taunt.
Yep.
Given that there was no backstab played, again, like there's no way that's gonna go through. You'd have to dagger up, backstab, and do something very weak. But with a Voidwalker in hand, it's also a reasonable play. Protect the rest of the minions.
Oh, I don't like that
Oof,
attack.
that's a
That-
trade I am not gonna be happy
That
about when I
feels
go to
bad,
sleep.
And
Oh my god, is that the double SI or the Skulker? Skulker is just straight up.
is it greedy that I want to wait for more?
I might just wait. If it's a forbidden ritual list, you're gonna find value out of this guy later.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways in which you
that
find value,
only hit 4 minions. Out of
and
the
2 of them
potential.
don't die.
I don't. You can kill 7 minions of this card against Zubz sometimes.
Man,
Double SI was the alternative line, but double SI has more flexibility. So that really left the options of playing a 5/6 or an Azure Drake or a second 2-pillager.
I guess you could have gotten
There
an
wa-
extra
there was-
coin. I didn't even mind the extra coin. It's not that bad.
There wasn't actually
Yeah.
that much pressure on the board.
Yeah,
But I think the Skulker play is very reasonable.
yeah, because I mean, if he unshields the Ardent Squire, then you get an even better Skulker. So yeah, there's a lot of lines of play that Rogue can take, but that's kind of the trademark of the class, really.
It's actually pretty interesting that he actually has such strong options while not actually having a spell in his hand.
For Rogue, that's very unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Usually you need that backstab or that deadly poison to
My
start things.
shield for
But
Argus.
no spells, just minions.
You just got a Drain Life.
You did get a
You
drain like
just
this game.
just got the Drain Life. Oh, that's gonna be rough.
Couple ways. Again, still like really good options. He's leaning towards the Azure Drake. I like Tomb Pillager and playing coining out an SI7.
Thank
just
you.
You
leave it.
do put the most pressure on board. Good point.
Behind you.
You certainly could have made a clear play, but how relevant is actually killing that Defender of Argus?
This guy's
That guy doesn't actually do that much. He just kills your 4-1.
Right, there's no way he's gonna push enough damage with that 2/3 alone to contest what you've got on board.
It is a pretty reasonable Defender of Argus, however. Where Zubz will be able to value trade the SI7. Value trading against Dagger is not actually that good, however.
I mean, the dagger does give the Rogue a little bit more removal. I wonder though how often Zoo, I wonder if it's even a classic Zoo, or if it's the discard type, because there's no cards I've seen yet that indicate it's anything special.
Looks pretty standard to me.
I mean, it's everything Zoo does, but even the discard lists run exactly all those.
So many possibilities.
We haven't seen Malchar's Imp. We haven't seen a Silverware Golem.
Really, we didn't actually see the Peddler take like the selection, but another Flame Imp. There's a lot of damage on board. You're running out of health.
Oh, okay,
pretty
that's
quickly.
it. We're pushing face here. I'm Rogue. I'm in. With this hand, I think I'm just pushing everything.
You have some very reasonable trades on the board.
Lights out.
But I mean, at 8, he can't life tap. You have the second Abyss and the SI.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty scary to me if you're the Warlock.
The fact I know Burgles in this deck makes me want to trade, you know?
Just to see it.
No, it's just because, like, I am the control.
You're the control rogue and you play like a Gadison Auctioneer rogue with the
Yeah,
perfect
I'm-
opener.
I'm just going to put you to 7 top deck to Leroy. No, wait, we play Burgle.
Yeah. Well, Burgle wins anyway.
For Argus.
It always does. Power Overwhelming. Soul Fireface. You don't believe in Burgle, do you?
I don't even know if I own Burgle in my Hearthstone collection, man.
Well, I mean, you're going to have to at some point when the deck becomes top tier.
When this becomes the new meta.
Yeah, well, you'll have to learn the deck.
No,
So many
just no good
possibilities.
trades to be made here for Zubz, and
Yeah.
it looks like
Szelzki's going to take it with
With
the
the
quote-unquote
aggressive,
Burgle rogue.
still not Burgle Rogue yet, the cast to do it.
If we see it later in the event, there will be a Burgle at some point, and your mind will change.
This is lethal, the Shadow Strike, and the Eviscerate.
Yeah, there's a billion lethals. You can combo SI Dagger. There's lots of ways to have it done. But I think there was a big telegraph. You know, as soon as the Eviscerate went face for 5 with the Drake, it did tell Zubz that there was more damage to be left in this.
Looking back at that game, I think that you can say Szelzki got like really lucky on that drain life, but I think Zubz gave him the opportunity to get
To
lucky
drain life,
by
right.
not coining that Imp Gang boss. And I'm not saying that you should be playing around drain life. I'm saying you should be playing around backstab and SI7.
And SI7 agent, yeah. In which case, the punish was still the same. Because Drain Life is effectively the 2 damage from SI you would expect.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
backstab.
Right, or the backstab. So I can see how occasionally that
Yeah.
doesn't backfire when you do coin out the in-game
Yep.
boss. And then at some point, it has to be weaved in on an awkward turn. If the
Yeah.
Drain Life sits in the hand, it has to be weaved in later, and then the Rogue never finds time. And maybe at that point, you've solidified the lead.
Actually, just how that ends up sequencing after that is that that Tomb Pillager
Right.
that came down, you had to end up researching your in-game boss to trade,
trade-
into that.
to trade into
and
that,
that's
yeah.
just like, absolutely not what you want to be doing.
Well, we'll see the zoo again from Zubz here, who seems to be discussing
And
with the admins. Something's going on.
Don't exactly know what.
So at this point, it looks like a classic zoo to me, from what I can tell here.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of
Yeah,
them.
they're like even this hand just solidifies the fact that it's
Yep.
probably going to be
and we have
standard zoo
an
list.
Arcane Anomaly, a Fireball, and a Polymorph from this mage. So, not wait, who casted that?
Prince Malchazar in the.
a
Oh
mage
my
deck.
God!
That is not what you want to be drawing off the top.
But is that Prince Malchazar's dragon, or is that Szelzki's
There's
dragon?
no way that's not in his deck, right?
Okay, it's got to be.
Yeah, I'm looking
From
at his
Prince.
deck list right now. There is the curse stops at Flame Strike, which is a 1-0.
So how does one get this card out on the board against Zoo as mage?
Well, if there's an Emperor Thor's and a Sun Fury Protector, you combo, you get a 12/12 taunt.
Okay, I like your optimism.
Other than that, I actually don't have many good ideas.
I like your optimism.
No.
Well, the Arcane Anomaly isn't contesting all that much in this spot.
No, well, there's just nothing to go with it right now.
That's a draw right there. That's a perfect clear with the Frostbolt.
I wonder if you
Actually-
actually just Frostbolt to flame him and not trade.
Yeah, to just keep your Arcane Anomaly
You
at
lose-
2 health.
You lose to be a tournament like that. But yeah,
It's hard to say, but I think it's still better to trade just to if you had a follow-up that wasn't horrible,
right. But
you might
I
consider it.
if
yeah.
you look at your hand, after your mulligan, you had a Fireball, a Polymorph, and then you drew Deathwing the Dragon Lord in your opening hand.
And then this.
So I think you have to like kind of take some risks at least. The
Yeah.
Archmage is in his deck.
So this might be either the one from Prince or the actual Archmage Antonidas in his list.
It's more
Oh,
likely to be from his list.
No, from what I understand, Prince cannot add in legendaries that already are in the deck. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Ben Bro did mention that, so you're more guaranteed to get Lore Walker Cho Nat Pagel than you are to ever get a second, Emperor Thor's, which makes it worse, obviously.
Wait, does that mean I should be playing Lore Walker Show in my deck?
You should, just to avoid Prince Malchazar's downside.
That just makes all the sense.
I mean, I'm glad you see it that way,
Yeah.
because it does.
So, the Knife Juggler and Councilman actually kind of like do the same thing.
Yeah, one
Killing
of them
the Knife
though
Juggler actually
frees you.
reduces more, but
Right.
you can use the Fireball to free up your mana.
That's like I was gonna say, it's more mana efficient to kill the Councilman now,
Like picking the Juggler does reduce 1 damage,
effectively.
but you got a buttload of mana in your hand.
Yeah. And now you have to use Fireball with the Arcane.
Yep.
Oh, there might be a Juggler Forbidden Ritual.
I think
Or
it's just,
Juggler tap.
I think it was just Forbidden Ritual here.
Whoa, he's gonna hold on
Yeah.
for the ultimate value trades. I don't mind this, but it's
This-
also
This is
letting the
getting
mage
Szelzki
react.
some wiggle room to actually get back in this, just with
with this.
Fireball, and I wonder if he actually cast the blast here.
If he plays AOE like Blizzard, and I mean,
There's
you
no-
might have a
There's
chain.
no Blizzard, there is however Flame Strike, but if you're looking at your hand, and you're looking at the size of your deck, because you shuffled in 5 legendaries into your deck,
The odds are slim.
yeah, you don't actually have very good odds of hitting this Flame Strike anytime soon.
So still going for maximum Juggler value here.
Yeah,
Did not play.
Zubz is really trying to play for value here, squeezing in those life taps, which is like, I think he might have been able to just run over Szelzki, but I think this is also like an acceptable way of playing the game, of where it's just like, I don't know what's in my opponent's deck. He could have Blizzard, he could have Flame Strike.
Is this a freeze mage, or is this like a mid-range weird type of
it
mage? With
could-
the Arcane Anomaly, it's unlikely.
It could still be Reno.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore, but I think he's going to cast that.
Yeah.
But-
From Zub's perspective, anything goes.
Exactly. It's definitely...
Oh man.
Is that good? I think I pinged the Juggler here.
So your turn 7 would be Drake ping again, or maybe Polymorph ping Mirror Image.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways you can play
The
this,
thing,
this turn.
the thing with the images is the 2/3 is like so much more likely to stick now.
Yeah. It keeps it alive a lot more often, and you can then proceed to play more spells to buff it up. There's been cases in Mage, especially the spell-heavy aggro-ish types, where you see the Arcane Anomaly grow up to 2/6, 2/7, 2/8, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous, but it's not the most common occurrence against Zoo.
I wonder.
Well, yeah, because you need to play it on 1, and then the guy's gotta
Right.
be there on 5.
Yeah.
Zoo's really good at trading.
I mean, if you have the follow-up, like Arcane Anomaly, Ping Mirror Image, Coin Mirror Image, or Coin Arcane Missile, it does work against Zoo. But
I think this is just a ritual turn, but
he seems,
I really don't. It's like going into the Flame Strike turn, but like there's a chance this 2/2 actually ends up dying here. So cool.
oh my god, 2 juggles to the face. This is going badly, but the last juggles go salvage. There's one more to go, and that's going to be it for the 2/2. Whew.
So missiles is good. Not that good though.
Yeah. I mean, the Void Walker makes it kind of clunky is the issue.
Yeah.
You just Arc Mage?
So
and just
yeah,
cast?
it's pretty reasonable.
I
The
do
merit,
like it.
the merit for the I think you just ping now, right?
Ping that juggler.
Then next turn you go polymorph
Oh
missile
man.
alongside
No!
the Flame Waker.
Oh, what? This is precisely what the Void Walker's job was, and he did it magnificently.
Oh my god, one guy died.
You had one job, Void Walker, and you did it.
Yeah, even Night Juggler did a pretty good job.
It's like, all right, I've got some health left. Didn't get pinged. Good to go. Well, that's pretty much what Zubz was waiting for, and that's a
That was
window of opportunity he's never going to get again.
That was the second worst result.
Yeah.
So the Archmage was a reasonable
So
line
many
last turn. However, what the Drake does do, what it does worse is fight for board worse. The Drake like just
Certainly, yeah.
doesn't do much on board. But what the Drake does do is get you closer to that Flame Strike card that you desperately need at this stage in the game.
Baron Geddon from Prince Malchazar could do it.
Cycle into Baron Geddon that might be in your deck is a reasonable line.
Is there another card that deals AoE damage and when it comes down? Am I forgetting a card?
Shelma would work it.
Oh,
He
goodness.
has the, that's just game, I guess. Shucks.
Based on the hand from the Zoo player, I have to say Zexy's going to have to replay this Mage deck, which I'm happy. I want to see some more Prince Malchazar shenanigans.
I want to see this go up against a control deck, but I don't know if we're going to get the privilege of seeing that.
That would be a fantastic thing. Well, looks like the Polymorph on the Direwolf mitigates the most damage. It does it really? I mean, you have to hope. Wow, this Void Walker's
5,
just
6, or 8. He's
taking
like 4 for 5 on that
this
Void
guy.
Walker.
That Void, for all the unluckiness of the juggles and the drain life of last game, this Void Walker made up for everything. Absolutely everything. Game goes to Zubz here. Well, yeah, pretty happy about it. Yeah. I wonder, though, how often as Zubz you expected that deck to be Freeze Mage. Like, the Arcane Anomaly is weird.
There's no way it's
Yeah.
Freeze Mage.
You expected, what, a Tempo Mage?
It's a Polymorph Blast.
I mean,
You saw there's like random legendaries. Yeah.
what is that deck, right? Like, that's the question. Arcane Anomaly when Prince Malchazar. All right.
And there's actually no copy of Yogg-Saron. However, he has titled his deck Roulette.
Okay. The deck's name is Roulette.
And there's no Yogg-Saron.
There's no Yogg-Saron, which means he needs to get Yogg from Prince Malchazar. Which, given the fact that the algorithm makes it so you never shuffle a legendary that's already in there.
Yep. You
That's
definitely
more
bump
likely.
your odds a tiny bit.
Yeah. Well, there's a Barnes in there.
Usually, like, when you cast a Yogg, your opponent, well, one of you is going to be very upset, right?
Sure.
But if you cast a Yogg that's not actually in your deck,
that might
then your opponent's going to be very upset for sure.
that might make matters even worse. Did he confirm this entire hand? So I think he confirmed this because I know why. I know why. He wants to reduce the amount of bad possible targets for Barnes. So he keeps the spell so he never draws a minion Prince Malchazar is going to be shuffling legendaries in that deck.
We don't actually get to see what they are, right?
No, not until they come out. And that leaves the element of surprise.
Are you sure he didn't mulligan?
Yes.
That's very
I heard.
strange.
I just heard the confirm. Maybe he did, but I heard confirm, and those two cards did not move. Might be a spectator bug, but
That is very strange.
based on the way the games are captured, I think it's actually a mulligan that he kept. He didn't see. He shook his head because he wanted it from Barnes, not because it's a bad card.
I don't. No, you don't. If you're gonna play Barnes on 4, you don't want Archmage.
Well, if it's
What
not
do
answered,
you want? You want Emperor
Emperor Thorson's good.
or one of your random legendaries?
Yogg. I mean, you probably want.
A Sharsh? Your Sharsh that's now in your deck, maybe.
Yeah, Tyrion. I think you can't put another class's legendaries in. It still obeys deck building rules. From
Does it?
what? Yeah. Benfield said it obeyed deck building rules, which I assume means it can't put a class like legendary from another class in your deck.
So no Tyrone.
No Tyrone. You could get anomalous.
It's very interesting that Zubz decided to armor rather than play a Beckoneer Evil Lesser.
He expects to be burnt. I think at this point what he's looking at is some kind of freeze list, and if you armor up just forever, he expects to win. And that is an okay card, but
That's
eh.
pretty darn good if it sticks.
If it sticks on the board, it's going to be magnificent with Kabbalah's Tome in hand.
You could get away with like playing Tome and like Frostbolt. There is a clear if Zubz elects to take it.
I think it's a bit too heavy on the resource investment. Using the coin for the Pyromancer AoE
This
was the play.
Yeah. This 4x swing seems like feels bad. You know?
It's safe enough, honestly, but
Azure Drake's definitely a very nice follow-up to this.
On with the show.
I would definitely say I like going.
he wants to mitigate the armor before the Drake to force an armor-up attack.
Yeah.
Which I can actually agree with. I think it's
I mean,
just better
if
than
you-
enabling anything else.
If you trade the 2/3, then he hits your 3/2 for Warag.
Yeah.
He has to make that trade.
It's I really, really like that.
Quality of a good player is just knowing when you get to get your, in this case, 3 free damage.
All right, so this is an interesting thing for some of the watchers who may not be familiar. This is a cycle list of Cthulhu Warrior, which runs the Pyromancers with commanding shouts, Battle
And
Rage as
sweepers
well, to just
over,
get
using that kind of board sweeper rather than Brawl,
right.
and just draw your deck a bit faster to get that Cthulhu into brand Doom color after that gets discounted. Although on coin, if you do save the coin,
man.
you can brand coin Cthulhu on the Emperor discount,
Sure.
which is
Depending on the
good.
matchup, it's either better or worse. Like if you need to finish the game right now,
Yeah.
or if you just want to get deeper in your deck, like keeping like in this spot, very often you'll find that the warrior player keeps the coin for commanding shout turns. You get the acolytes, but he decided to commit to it right now, which lowered the value quite a bit.
I like this play a lot, actually.
Okay.
It's just that dealing that one point of damage was just like pretty gross. So there's Flame Waker, Arcane Anomaly, and Arcane Blast. They released a lot of arcane
Those are pretty
cards.
good. Yeah.
On with the show.
Soon we'll have Arcane Waker, which is actually a 3-mana 2/5 that deals 2 damage per missile.
Ooh.
That was pretty balanced.
So the safe play is to save the mana to be able to hero power. Oh wow, he doesn't actually cast the blast.
So this is weak to what exactly? I mean, Ghoul clears up the anomaly,
Yeah.
weakens the 2/4. There could be a Fiery War Axe Ghoul play.
Oh,
That's
but-
kind of awkward, but
Okay,
otherwise I
there's
like it.
actually also a brawl in this deck.
Well, I think the cycle deck usually runs 1 copy. Some did run 2. A lot of people
No.
went hybrid with that stuff.
When I was playing this deck in preparation for prelims, I was like, Brawl's the worst card in this deck. I would
Yeah.
never play Brawl, but
Interesting because
I
I know
did see some lists have it 1 in. I've never seen 2 though.
yeah, I know Calento was running 1. Everything Calento does ends up somewhere in ladder.
Yes.
But the point is, he was running, I think, this type of list with Brawls sprinkled in as well. And
I guess another consideration for this play last turn for Szelzki worth mentioning is that he's collecting 1 mana spells for the Archmage.
against Warriors, that sounds reasonable.
Yep.
Very reasonable.
This Flame Waker is going to be taken out.
I mean, he's really just not that far behind at all. Like,
This Fireline's portal on curve seems fine to me.
you push it face or kill a 2/3.
I think
You want to
kill the
protect your
2/3.
3/2?
You kill the 2/3, I think.
Sure. Oh, looks like we're about to see a tome. Okay.
What I don't like about the tome is that you're going to end up with like a really weak board, and
Forbidden
you're
Flame.
not going to be able to push those like gradual damages that you kind of want here. I guess you could like Forbidden Flame that. And
No, you want to keep that
Yeah.
for Archmage, right? Like, if you're going to be consistent
a
with your
fact.
game plan, I
Yeah.
think you do stick to this.
like, oh, he's actually going to kill it. I do like it in the sense that it does play around Battle Rage.
If you've identified that it's a cycle deck, then killing it plays around
You
Battle Rage.
already saw the Wild Pyro.
Yeah, it's
So,
100% going to be cycle.
Battle Rage is in the deck when you see Wild Pyro. I really like this Cabalist team. But just in general, I just don't like Cabalist Dome. It's like, no matter when you cast it, it's just like
It finds a lot of awkward spots.
5 mana, dude, like close to nothing.
Yeah, it depends on the deck. Like, if we ever get to a point where some kind of value mage is good, then I think the tome fits right in. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of decks that play Babbling Book where they used to play, Kabbalist Tome. You know, they tried to fit in the tome in
Yep.
those aggro lists, and they just replace it with Book. Because often you
The
just
body
pick
of a
up-
1/1
Right.
is very relevant early.
It's kind of tough, and against Warriors, that 1/1 is actually very pesky. If it's early enough or like late enough that it dodged a ghoul, that 1/1 just keeps chipping away at them.
This is a really interesting play.
Okay.
He played the 6/6 over Twins.
Twins, yeah. Twin Emperors.
That Archmage card is really good. I think you should play the Archmage.
I like the Emperor Thorson. I'm just slamming
Oh,
it.
oh,
I am
excuse me,
slamming
yes, the
that Emperor. Yeah, okay.
He's
okay.
gonna go ahead and kill this using
With Forbidden Flame?
or the blast, one of the two.
Uh,
I really like that Emperor.
And that Emperor looks so sweet right now. Okay, he uses the most expensive spell to keep the cheaper one for
Yep.
Archmage. Man, that Emperor looked so good. It's contested
Actually-
Dominion.
He's actually not so far off just killing this warrior, which is like funny to say because he's at 31, but he's got a fireball. He can probably make 2 more of his Archmage, so that's 18, and he's got a Power Blast. So
That came from the tome, that's right.
So he's actually got pretty close to 30 damage in his hand currently.
Yeah, and the counter spell doesn't look like much, but it's the type of card that makes it so every attempt at removing the Archmage is just going to completely be dismantled. Well, let's see what he opts to do here. Oh, come on. That Emperor has to come out at some point. You might even just like buff it up with the 4/4 trading away,
Yeah.
and then ping the 5/5.
Does that give +2/+2 or
+3/3.
+3/3? That's a big Archmage or a big Emperor.
There's a huge Emperor Thorson. Goodness gracious. Shield Slam's not in the hand right now.
You just kind of wish you could have played counter spell to go with that.
Yeah, it was exactly one man off if he opted to just use the Forbidden Flame. Oh man,
Well-
that's really awkward. There's no way for him to kill the Emperor.
Yeah, and Cthulhu could kill it, but
You could also go for a YOLO Brawl, to put it that way.
you could drop the Acolyte
What
as well.
So you could actually go Disciple, Acolyte,
And
Brawl.
the thing is, against this kind of deck, once you do see this Emperor, there's 100% of the time going to be an Archmage in there.
Right.
And when you see an Emperor from a Freeze Mage, it's like, okay, I don't care. You're still not playing Anthonitis in your deck. You're just you're playing it to facilitate draw, which is
Yeah.
not dangerous. But against this deck, you know absolutely that Anthonitis is there.
Yeah, Freeze Mage has gotten like to the point now where they play the card just to make it easier for them to freeze, then draw, and freeze, then draw. Whereas in this type of deck, the value of it just comes from giving you extra kill potential. So how do you play this turn? Do you just let the Emperor go off again?
There is no way the Anthonitis gets played this turn.
Yeah. I mean, I hope not.
I think this is like an Azure Drake
Volume
Fire. That could have been like
no, not like this!
Fireball Polymorph was pretty reasonable.
Good lord, okay. You're gonna
This
have-
is pretty good.
Yeah, he might just freeze the guy. I
Yeah.
think he wants to get fireballs to freeze, like to just reduce the
I
cost
think
of
he
them
wants
to 3.
to. I think he wants to reduce the fireballs. Yeah.
Just flame it. Go, go, go. Go, 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 more. You're not going to reduce that guy to 0,
I think
minus
he's
1.
pretty confident that his guy's not going to die with the counterspell. He couldn't kill the Emperor, so do you think he's going to kill the Archmage now? I don't
Highly
know.
unlikely, but now right there, Zubz got the ability to play Battle Rage to trigger the counterspell first.
Yeah, that Battle Rage is actually a really good pickup.
That's an insane draw right there.
He
It
needed,
guarantees.
he needed spell. He needed spell in this situation. He doesn't actually know he needs spell. He actually has no clue what the secret is, given it was just played. Could be anything.
He is going to start with the Wild Pyromancer.
And play an Acolyte of Pain.
I hope he doesn't. Yeah, I was going to say, I hope there's no like
He's-
attempt at him flooding the board more than this, because
Yeah, so he's going to still have the mana for Brawl.
so that's see. The odds are pretty good, but I mean, we're talking 40% for it to still be a disaster.
Well, you lose otherwise, so
Yeah.
you gotta Brawl and you gotta hope one of your guys stick.
Does it hold, though? That's a big deal, and it does hold, and he keeps the 4-3 who's frozen. And just like that, might stick around. Alex Traza comes in to burn the Warriors' health down even lower. This might actually be the card that
So
finishes everything off.
So there is that 28 damage in hand, so you're not quite there. Like, it's...
Well, with an Alex, with Drake, Fireball, Fireball.
I wonder.
I do like playing Alex, though.
I bring life.
If he couldn't deal with the 8-8 and then the 5-7, can he deal with just this?
No.
I'm gonna guess no.
No. The current hand that this warrior has does not kill big guys.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like something that could happen. Now, there could be the Brand Disciple to double buff Cthulhu and also trade into the Alex.
I actually very much like that read and playing on the... Yeah, just playing, like... Just being consistent. Just playing over and over again. I know you can't deal with this, so I'm going to do that over and over again. Rather than
play big minions one at a time.
rather than playing something like an Azure Drake and kill your guy. We don't know if he can kill Azure Drake. We know he can't kill something that has above 7 health.
Yeah, we've seen that from Archmage and the 8-8
Yep.
Emperor.
Finally, an Execute picked up.
I kind of like the.
I
I
kinda
kind of like the
it.
Brand double hit.
Yeah.
Double
Like,
buffing Cthulhu
you-
seemed very valuable, but it also guarantees that Flame Strike doesn't punish you too hard.
Well, it's also you have a Brand on the board going into your next turn, almost guaranteed Cthulhu turn.
Yeah,
And
occasionally
if,
that
if,
works.
if you're looking, occasionally it won't work because there's a million fireballs. But if you look at the hand size, you're never winning the long game. Your opponent has so much card advantage over you at this point.
So Zubz is gonna have. Oh my God! Is that from Prince Malchazar? It has to be, right?
I believe it is.
It must be, unless he's really true to his roulette.
That's in his deck.
That is in his deck.
No, that's not in his deck. That is not his
Okay,
deck.
so Prince Malchazar just added Nexus Champion Sarad to
Which
this
is one
RNG
of the better
Fiesta.
one.
Against Warriors, it's always good, just because you
Yeah.
value them every single time. And looks like Cthulhu's gonna come out to face against 2 fireballs. I mean, he knows there's 2 of them there.
He's hoping it gets Fireball twice. Unfortunately for him, it's going to get Polymorph,
And draw a card.
and then you get a random spell because
Oh,
you know with
man.
the Polymorph, you got to always pick the sheep.
Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect Nexus Champion turn. And just like this, value is going to be extracted. Zubz Space is telling the story of a man who can't believe this Prince Malchazar shenanigan is working out, and that's actually not bad against Warrior.
It's Repentance, right?
Yeah, if they pick up some of their later threats,
Sure.
it can work out. Man, that's actually really cool. I don't even know what's going on.
So there's Brand gain 20.
Okay, that's
This
the way to
is-
do it.
I don't think this is a game that Warrior can win based on having lots and lots of health.
So, is there a Doom Caller in there?
Yeah, there's for sure
So-
a Doom Caller in this
Right.
deck.
Do you wait? I almost feel like you Battle Rage, play the 10, the 6/6, and then armor up.
I
and
don't
try
think
to double.
I don't
Doom?
think you ever Battle Rage here, but I can see holding the Brand back for sure.
Okay, I guess the 1 card draw isn't worth it necessarily.
Well, we have more balls of fire. I would start with Ping.
Always draw first.
That's what when you have Nexus Rod on the board, you just draw first, or you just ping first. Flame Strike Ping.
Sure.
And
And
just-
the mirror images protect you.
Yeah,
I
it plays
like
into
that
the
too.
Battle Rage, the last card of your opponent's hand. However,
Yeah, I guess it's a really good argument for not. I think keeping your Nexus champion healthy is also a super important thing because you almost don't want to run into Execute. But you've gotten so much value out of it already, it doesn't matter.
He should. Maybe he's got a.
Flame Strike, pink face.
I just gonna like fireball this too. He really should ping here. Though.
I'd Flame Strike.
I'm not sure he has decided what he is doing yet.
All right, so let's just play cards.
He's just
Okay,
like,
what other legendaries are in that deck? What other legendaries? I want to know.
Nah, it's fun.
Already attacked.
You know, when you have 4 fireballs, in
That's good.
Journey Below's a good one for sure.
This Nexus champion just doesn't cease to amaze me.
Actually, that's the first one he's gotten, right? There's still 4 more random
There's more
legendaries.
of them in there. 4 more
Gosh.
legendaries.
That's pretty insane. When you have 4 fireballs in your hand, that's actually a pretty reasonable way to start your turn. How he did last turn.
The ghoul is not.
I think he should wait for minion, given he just Drupal.
He's
but
down to 5 cards though.
Yeah,
There's not much left for him to wait for.
a minion.
Should have played Prince Malchazar in there. Get more cards.
Well,
Right.
oh, ooh,
I knew-
again. Oh, my
Oh,
just
that Karen Bloodhoof value.
That's a good one against Warrior at this point.
You had your
Never
chance.
pings first. Doesn't need to.
He's that good.
All right. I mean, there's always stuff. you
I
know.
mean, there's not actually a spell that you would play over Karen.
I don't think so.
No, there's not. Well, no. Actually, maybe. Would you have played Call of the
Call,
Wild there?
yeah. If you pick up Call of the Wild, maybe you do.
That might be better than Karen.
Yeah, maybe it
Yeah.
is.
Okay. We'd play Call of the Wild.
Maybe Moonglade Portal even. It's on the fence. It heals you. I mean, it does nothing more, but it might summon Karen.
No.
It's fine, guys. We've got more of those where that came from. What else? What other legendary could be in that deck?
Any of them.
Yeah, but which one could change the game?
The game's been over for a while.
You say that, but he's been burning fireballs on minions.
Doesn't matter.
I want to see that Doomcaller. If Cthulhu hits with a second Doomcaller and there's not enough health for Szelzki, I mean, if he plays too conservatively and missteps
Yeah.
where he shouldn't.
Okay, sure. But all right, just this one drop is probably gonna soak up enough from the Cthulhu that it won't be lethal.
Yeah, I think this is the point where you just jam everything.
This is the point where you play your 8 mana Pyroblast like in 2014.
Champion already attacked.
He tries to attack with the Arcane Anomaly for good measure. There's a Justicar
I do
left,
that.
right?
I do that too.
Or does he
There's
not play
no
it?
Justicar
Yeah.
in his deck.
Got cut out. Well, Flamestrike can still find something to kill.
This is a pretty reasonable line. He needs to soften up the board for the Cthulhu eventually, but
Black Knight, that would have been useful earlier when the Twin Emperors
Yeah.
were around.
you're no longer needed Black Knight.
Okay, so I think at this point Zubz is hoping that Prince Malchazar shuffled a Yoggster on,
This is a Flame Strike.
unless, as I said,
Yeah.
he commits resources to the board.
I guess he's going to want to tempo this Black Knight instead.
I don't think there's any reason not to. There's no Bloodhoof Brave that's gonna
No,
come out of
you already saw
nowhere.
the twins.
So you're down to the very last minion.
So far what I've seen is shuffle 5 Chillwind Yetis in your deck.
Oh, that's a brawl.
Second brawl in this deck. Wow.
Yeah. Again, Kalento does things, right?
Kalenta does do things.
So how much damage on board? We're looking at 8, 12. There's 24.
So the
right
last
now.
is the last card Doomcaller? Is it even Doomcaller now?
I'm starting to wonder because if it's not Doomcaller, then this deck doesn't win.
It beats aggro.
It beats aggro decks,
It
yeah,
still
but
beats
like
aggro.
it does not beat the remainder
Well,
of most lineups. Playing into brawl even further, is there ever a chance that Zubz like wins the brawl? What is left in that deck?
I would ship both Fireball Space.
Yeah. So would I. Oh, that's the
There is a
Doomcaller.
Doomcaller in this
Okay.
deck. Okay.
There we go. Unfortunately, it's coming out a bit too late.
So there's 12, 16, 19, 20, 21.
We've got Polymorph, so Rip Cthulhu.
29 damage here.
Yeah.
Oh, no, draw
I want to
cards,
see
draw
legendaries
cards.
draw cards. No!
What else did you get? We'll never know.
You are not allowed to finish the game like this. What if, Yogg?
Oh, wait, he has lethal while drawing.
No,
cards.
draw! Oh, come
Oh.
on. Alright, I'm done.
Don't you understand, Szelzki? This is a spectator sport.
That's true, actually.
It really is.
Yeah, Hearthstone really is more about watching than playing competitively.
I'm enjoying.
It's great.
I'm enjoying casting rather than playing for once. This is much more relaxing.
Yeah, it's also super interesting to watch, like especially these open events. I just love the deck that people bring. It brings a bit of an interesting spin. Like, who would have thought Prince Malchazar would ever be played? And then
This is like the one tournament the card will be played.
sure, and then hopefully more, but I doubt it. I mean, if
You
the
gotta-
average is Nexus Champion Sarad, I might play it.
You gotta be like pretty hipster to be playing that.
Might play it in my Curator Warrior.
Oh
all
my.
right, there we go.
So we got Bookworm, Dragon Control.
So it looks like Dragon Control could still be a Menagerie Paladin.
Oh,
It does play a very heavy emphasis on the dragon theme, even in the Menagerie deck.
So
but
let's go
yeah.
ahead and look at this deck list. We have the copy of Zubz and the Menagerie Magician in
Oh
this
man,
deck,
look
as
at this.
well as Curator.
So right now, the deck is shaping up. I mean, the way the deck plays is very interesting because it's the new mid-range Paladin. That's just what it is. And the Vilefin Inquisitors almost always guarantee you get a Murloc in the early game.
It's not mid-range. This is heavy control. Come on.
It plays like mid-range, though. You'll notice just how mid-rangey it gets.
There's a Sarah in the deck.
I mean, how many 2-drops does he play? Because if he's playing anything ranging from 4 to 5...
Okay, he's got a Direwolf Alpha, 2 Fairy Dragon, and 2 Jeweled Scarabs.
Yeah, he is running about 6 to 7 1 to 2 drops. So it curves like a mid-range deck. It just happens to top end of the control because you've got the Dragon Consort as the
Okay.
perfect excuse to play.
Yeah, Dragon
control.
Consort, like
It's insane.
that card's always been very good,
Yeah.
but the rest of what goes with that has never been very good.
That's always been a very unfortunate thing about it, too.
Are we missing the dragon here to activate the?
We're missing everything. I might play the...
I
Yeah,
might play the Aldor. It just eats up a weapon charge. I think making a Deuce is fine.
Brand is fine, too. You force a Ghoul out, which you can then Aldor to get a value trade.
I actually think Hero Power almost forces a Ghoul too.
That's true. That's true, you do.
Just 2 1/1s is just like, it's enough.
Well, the Ghoul will be happy to pick off this Brand Bronze with remaining health.
Oh my
so
goodness. Brand Menagerie.
It is
You really
ridiculous.
get in there. You
Yeah.
really get in there.
Honestly, though, I think the deck, when it gets refined, if it does have some interesting like tier 3 potential. It's just like
Tier
it's
3.
like I don't think it's gonna be the new meta game that
So-
beats everyone, but
so
it's definitely not as bad as it looks.
From my understanding of like the tier system in Hearthstone is that there were actually only 3 tiers. Like
Let's label decks. Well,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
say tier 4 and let's make a new one. it's
There's
down
a-
there with like all the other priest decks that never made it to live.
so this is okay. So this is the new priest.
Something like that. Oh no!
Where's your vote of confidence?
What?
That's
No!
not active.
You make the whelps and you buff one of them.
He actually just wants something to stick.
Well, the 1/1 whelps do
Sometimes.
often. I guess
Besides
you
Ghoul.
didn't really see the answer. Like the Ghoul didn't
Yeah.
come out, so you don't know.
This feels like a little silly because he's not buffing anything at the moment.
There's always a world, I guess, though, when you're curved with Menagerie Warden and the opponent just flips the table. Because I mean, it is a 4/8. So let's be. Oh my God, this is real.
How greedy will he get?
No.
Oh,
No.
at least coin the Murloc.
He wants to do it on curve with the Menagerie Magician number 2. All right, Menagerie
Fair enough.
Magician,
Fair enough.
your time will come. Just be patient.
All of a sudden, that last play actually looks pretty good. Now he has a 4/8.
Yeah.
4/8's a 4/8. You need an execute. Like
That's all you got in that deck.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't overextend on the board and you play it like the old school control paladin, you just exhaust him with 1/1s
Yep.
and just boring minions that are not supposed to do anything, but they do.
Oh.
No more weapon.
Are the twin M's active? Because I feel like that's going to be like a very important aspect of this game if they are.
It isn't yet, but it will be
Yeah.
when the second Disciple of Cthulhu gets
So
played.
Szelzki still has time. Zubz will not have that big power play next turn. I think he needs to get on board with just like the Aldor and the
How do you feel about...
Cutie Murloc.
Because these don't summon wells, right? So just get it exactly like this, right? That's the play I like the most. You just don't want to get into a brawl
I think
situation.
a 1-3 and a 1-1's very similar to a 2-3. Although the 1-3 does kill one of your 1-1s.
It just like squeezes value.
War Axe is definitely a very welcome draw here. And this is just a beautiful turn. With the Disciple and the Battle Rage, he'll be able to draw 2 cards, clear the board, and activate Cthulhu, and draw cards. Like,
All at the same time.
yeah, this is just a very good turn.
I didn't get much better than this, and now Szelzki might feel pressure to play more aggressively, but you never want to extend. Never mind.
I think you play Tyrion here.
Yeah, I coin it out, and you always get an Ashbringer. Consecration against Cthulhu Warrior, that might be okay too. I don't hate it. Set up another Murloc for the possible Menagerie Magician.
The problem with this play is that you're behind on board.
Yeah.
Very likely to be behind on board.
It's a very awkward
I
way
don't
to.
believe he plays a quality either. So
I don't think the deck has room for it. It's one of those things where you need to play beasts and dragons onto very often.
And because there is no quality in the deck, it's going to be like really, really hard for him to wrestle back on.
And look at this Emperor Thorson uncontested right now.
I
Sits there unchallenged.
wonder if Zubz can actually make the read that there is no quality and actually push disadvantage.
If he knows the type, like if he knows this type of deck, he would know that because all the Menagerie lists cut out the equalities.
There could be a quality in there.
Uh-huh.
It's the set's very new. All the cards are very, very new. Can you say in a tournament match, I'm confident there is no quality in your deck?
In a Menagerie Magician deck, I guess maybe.
There could be an equality.
Yeah, I guess maybe there's like a 1 of equality in a Menagerie deck because it's really hard to find beasts to put in.
Like so far in this game, which is his first game against the deck, he hasn't seen Jeweled Scarab. He hasn't seen Direwolf
That's
Alpha.
true.
He hasn't
That is
seen
true.
all these janky cards.
Janky? What are you calling janky? My Scarab? Wanna fight?
Direwolf Alpha and Paladin, man.
Yeah, that's
that's a little janky.
Speak to me.
Drawing more cards is definitely very good with the Emperor on board.
And he's got the Brand already at 2, so if it goes down to 1, we're talking Cthulhu.
Yeah, if he hits Cthulhu, he will be able to play both, so that seems good. He will actually be able to go ahead and pick up this kill on the Tyrion.
And keep the Emperor alive
And
through
keep
it.
Yep.
That's an insane sequencing.
Unfortunately, he does not hit Cthulhu. That would have been what he was looking for.
Bookworm here can take care of the Wild Power Mancer if he wants.
I think you kill the Acolyte and deny the card of it.
Oh yeah, sure. Even better. Well, the Pyro just doesn't accomplish anything in this spot.
There needs to be exactly the second commanding shout.
Yep.
I think he's going to kill the Pyro if he's making this play, though. Because with this guy, all your whelps are just going to die.
If you let the Pyro up.
Yeah.
So the big drawback of this type of deck is card draw.
You could have done neither of those things, right? And you could have actually just left up the
Emperor up and give him another tick, but that seems risky.
But it's already ticked twice.
Yeah. How much worse can it get? Ask the guy who did that against a handlock last time.
It would have ticked on the Emperor, and then you could red.
Oh man, it would have been a disaster this time around.
1 card off for Zubz. Feels bad, man.
Yeah. Well, as it stands, like again, I was telling you that, but the big weakness of Menagerie Paladin, because I've played quite a bit of the deck, funny enough. Just not this exact list, but I've played quite a bit of it.
I completely believe you. That seems like a very noxious thing to do.
Yeah, it's actually super fun, but it gets card starved so frequently.
You got a lot of like low quality minions, and you only get to make up for it if you actually do drop Curator.
Which is why you have to include Nefarian and Ysera in the deck to compensate at some point. Like, if you want to build the deck, you have to put them top end, but if you do, then suddenly you're worse against aggro, so your mid-range plan kind of falls apart. Nether Spite Historian is something I expected to see in a Menagerie deck. The one that gives you Discover a Dragon, because you can actually get those big dragons while playing a 2-drop at the same time. Whoa.
Well, I think he might have made that read that there is no quality in this deck, and he's going to go ahead and do this and win the game.
Enter the Coliseum.
Wow, that snowballed quickly.
That is not entered the Coliseum. I confirm. Do you confirm this is not entered the Coliseum?
That is not entered.
We are in. So right now the Paladins just got nothing to do. Without equality, this entire board sticks. Brand's on board. You know
He can
that Brand just
kill
wrecks you.
the one Druid Claw. There's just no way, right?
I mean, he can play Dragon Consort as well as the Twilight Guardian, and that leaves him with.
Brand twins into Brand Cthulhu. I don't think any deck beats
Yeah.
when the Brand 6.
If they don't have. Whoa, the Ordering must. Oh no, that's the only dragon in his hand. My bad.
He really wanted to taunt.
My bad.
Buffing that, making the Murloc and buffing both your minions was
Might have been
probably a
better,
bit better to
sure.
fight for board.
That's what I was thinking too. But
this
28 damage
is
coming in.
Just lethal, right? Yeah.
I don't know. That was what 11 damage tanked, and with the damage on board, way.
There was
With
also
range.
12 damage on board, so that was like 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty violent.
If you're not a warrior, that 40 always gets you.
Yep.
If you're not a warrior, that health count is never high enough. So Zubz is now equalizing the score, I think, 2-2
Yep.
in this series.
And I forgot the ban.
I think it was a Druid ban, because one player banned the Hunter, the other one banned the Shaman, if I'm not mistaken.
Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah. So this is gonna be he's gonna have to replay this deck and win with it. That's gonna be pretty tough.
You were speaking very highly of this deck
But
just
I
a
think
moment
it's
ago. I know
constructed very greedily. I mean, if it's running into aggro, he's very happy. Oh my goodness.
you think this has a good matchup against Aggro Shaman?
I think it does pretty well against Aggro Shaman compared to the other lists that I've played. You have so much early game in that type of deck that you often just run away with it. Okay.
Pitches both the Murlocs. You're like
I might keep one. I don't necessarily mind.
The 1/3s don't actually do that much.
Yeah, it's just having something.
When you're not playing Abuse Sergeant, you don't have like the Flame Tongues. Vanilla 1/3s just doesn't do
It's
that
just it
much.
gives you a Murloc from hero power for Zubot plays. That's really it.
Yes.
Is that otherwise you never really get it until you just curve super high.
Wondering if you should coin this Fairy Dragon.
In this deck against Shaman,
He's got
probably.
coin 2, technically 2, by making the 1/1 with the Scarab, and then he has 3. So he's just missing 4, and then actually he goes 5, 6, 7 after that. So
Right.
his curve's pretty nice, and
Shaman kind of whiffed on the curve.
Well,
He's gonna have to be played like the Rock Blighter curves it off.
Decided not to play Totem Golem because now he gets Barrel Sanction, which is a reasonable way to play that.
And that's a good card if I've seen one. He's gonna try to
He's got-
mind games his opponent. He's hesitating, but he's not.
He's just like, no, there's 2 considerable options here. Come on, what's better than that?
Nothing.
Generally on Discover mechanics, you generally take the card that's already in your deck.
Yep.
Because you think that card's good, that's why you put it in your deck in the first place.
Yeah. Nether Spite Historian gives you
The
Consort
light
about
protects.
45% of the time.
Does it?
The 2-drop, yeah, it does. And Scarab gives you this guy, the Nightbane Templar, I think,
The Zubz like going ahead
a
and
bit lower.
just he's continually just kind of playing around. He's modifying his curve with the top deck, which is not always an easy thing to do, but I think he's making some pretty good decisions here. This last turn he set up to play the Ferals. This turn then he realized he drew a 1-drop, so he can play Totem Golem 1-drop and then play Feral.
Yeah, it's a lot better when you're weaving in that overload so it doesn't ever make your turns clunky. Oh man, that's gonna be a
Ooh.
very good Consecration.
Yeah, I don't like the fact he didn't play around Consecrate.
That is an insane Consecration. Wow, it doesn't get any better in Zubz.
I think the best part about that Consecrate is that your opponent has 2 Flame Totems in his hand. Wow.
True.
Just asserting dominance. And I actually think that's correct because you can just top deck the Dragon buff, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, if there were a Maelstrom Portal, you would have seen it last turn, given the amount of 1/1s you had on board, so there's none. That's the assumption you have to run into, and I like that. That's a good decision.
Ooh. If you change your hero power, then the Grimscale Oracle will actually buff your tokens.
That's
If
true.
you never kill that guy.
That's true. I didn't even consider that, but that's a really good point.
So
Scarab also helps with that, by the way. Just want to point, throw it out there. The Scarab discovers quite a few Murlocs. And there's a War Leader. There's the guy that buffs Murlocs. There's a Zubot even on 3.
Yeah.
So that deck finds a lot of value out of the Scarab. Not a consistent game plan, but it's one you can play with a little bit.
So these you have 2 flame tongues. You definitely play 2 flame tongues.
It doesn't seem like there's an alternative.
You weren't gonna play around
anywhere.
Consecrate before. You're not gonna play around Consecrate now, right? So
You just kind of have to shove and.
yeah, you double flame tongue, hit him for 8. Hopefully somewhere in there you draw that Doom Hammer that you so desperately need. I guess that trade's kind of okay.
This trade is great. I would probably make that trade every time. It's the
You're
other
only
ones that
missing
are-
like you are missing 3 damage by making this deck, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. You could have done 8 and now you're doing 5.
So what is better than a Bookworm in this spot? There's nothing,
Bookworm
right?
seems pretty good.
I mean, the way
You
Flame
can
Tongue's
live-
positioned too is great.
You can limit your opponent to just having the 1 flame tongue on his board.
And you
while
don't lose
keeping
anything.
2/1/1. You do lose 1/1/1. There's no way
Oh,
you
he
don't
should
make
have
that
traded
trade.
everything. He should have thrown the Silverhand Recruit.
Yeah, I kind of like the dragons. They're really cute.
Yeah.
Little,
Feels bad. It's like losing a tiny
these
fin.
little blue and purple dragons.
Did you bring
Some good art.
Oh, that's a Flame Tongue that came out. Nope. It's not.
Yeah, I think he really needed like a mana tide in this
Yeah.
spot.
I mean, the 3/6 body is very relevant here.
Yeah, it's just very good at killing the little guys.
Yeah.
And from this spot, it's going to be very hard for Zubz, especially given the Curator is going to lock out Doomhammer as an out this turn.
So now Zubz is wondering what he has to do with these 2 1-mana spells.
That's.
He's thinking of killing the Bookworm to protect the Flame Tongue.
I think that is probably correct. That is definitely how you win the game.
And hope nothing else comes in to put a wrench in your plans.
The Flame Tongue is much more valuable than those 2 spells in your hand.
At this point, I'd agree with you. Yeah.
Well, you can kill the Flame Tongue with that.
you could play Scarab
Yeah,
plus
you can play
this.
the Beast first.
Yeah.
Play the Scarab first.
I don't mind it.
You can also just play Curator and kill the 3/2.
I like that too. So he's going to choose not to play the
Yeah,
Scarab.
he really should have played the Beast first.
Yeah, the buff value is actually substantial. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a clear missequencing.
Well, Nightbane Templar again plays in thank you.
Yeah, the odds of discovering these
Yeah.
cards are really high compared to what you'd expect.
He draws the Lava Burst. Definitely not what he's looking for at this point. Just gonna go poke face for 3 and
There's like this random world where Curator is never played because Zubz, because Szelzki just figures I never need it, and then somehow,
just playing that taunt minion is very good here.
yeah, it's just like a runner. You prevent any runner lethals from coming in.
One of the biggest merit of Curator as a card is that it has
And there we go. We're gonna see it come down, and Zubz is gonna have to pick up a spell damage source to get rid of it.
Darrow.
Is there a world? Oh wait, Maelstrom Portal off the top actually is pretty good.
Already played a copy. I don't know if he plays 2.
Some decks do. Most decks don't. That's not the Maelstrom Portal.
That
Spell
is
damage?
spell power, so you can kill the taunt, but your opponent is still at 20. So you're like 3 cards away from winning, essentially.
Our Dragon Consorts are looking pretty sweet. I mean, at this point, Bookworm. can
You
be
have
played.
all the cards.
Right.
I think you played it too, but power up.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Have at it. You buff everything.
BM. You hit on 3 here, right? That never gets better.
Yeah. It's never going to get any better than this.
So many carrots.
Yeah. Okay. Might as well.
Remember when that 4/4 dragon was around? He grew up, and he's kicking butt.
Now he's an Azure Drake. Soon enough, Draconic Crusher.
Soon enough, we'll get spell power. Another love. Oh. Oh, we don't know. We don't get to know what the other card is, do we? Oh.
Well, that
Oh,
that was
lovely.
actually a win from Menagerie Paladin over Aggro Shaman. You asked me if I thought the deck fared well against Aggro Shaman.
I'm gonna call this variance and
And
say
it is gonna
you
be
got
very
lucky
unlikely.
in your statement, and I think Aggro Shaman is still favored.
It's better. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's favored in the matchup if
I
you
think
play enough 2 drops.
having a bunch of early stuff
Yeah.
is always just going to be good against more aggressive decks because you have stuff on the board that's just not like say in Control Paladin, where you're just going to have like dude pass.
Sure.
Where's my quality? Where's my pyro? So yeah, you're going to have this consistent
Defense, I guess, against the early
defense of
game.
actually just having like maybe not the best cards in the world,
Yeah.
but
something.
they're better than dude pass.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than Control Paladin for many, like, just because you have, again, that early game. It's just, I like the way that the deck just curves into True Summer Champion. Like, it just curves there, and once you hit it against even Aggro Shaman, somehow that just leads to a late game.
I
like
actually
it.
even like the Direwolf more and more. When you look at the
Sure.
1/3s, like 1/3s in decks that have Abusive Surgeons are very, very good.
Sure.
1/3s without any buff cards, not so much, but Direwolf helps a bit.
I mean, even a Zubot. I've had games where you just
Or
play it
where
on
it becomes-
one,
yeah, the
coin
buff card-
Zubot, and it's like a 2/4.
and that's very good. You
That's
kill
good
like
enough,
you
yeah.
kill their 2/2 or their like their Dark Peddler or whatever it is.
Yeah. Against
That's
Hunter,
very good, yeah.
against Hunter, they pass one.
Yep.
You play like you just get the Zubot, the 2/4 trades into
Yeah.
something. If Huge Toe doesn't get the 33%, then you're good to go. Anyway, Menagerie Magician Paladin took a game and the series against Zubz. So honestly, I'm just happy Prince Malchazar was played in a lineup and it actually won a match in group stage. Hopefully we get to see more of that later from Szelzki. The Control Rogue also, we haven't seen Burgle, but I want it to come back.
It's not Burgle Rogue.
It has to
It's
be
still
Burgle
not
Rogue.
Burgle Rogue.
So until that next match comes up, we'll take a quick break. 5 minutes. Stay tuned, guys, for more Hearthstone action in Northern Arena.